Honestly, I thought I was healed until life said prove it. Guess what I'm doing now? Good grief. I really honestly thought I had healed from a lot of things until life said prove it and stand 10 toes on it. And cousins, this is what season 2 of A Legendary Mess is. Standing 10 toes on the very things that we don't really often talk about or show. I've missed you guys. It's been some months. And honestly, the first thing I really want y'all to do is, y'all know I always start off with the question. And the question is for everyone who's tuning in, watching, catching up, or new here. First and foremost, I am your hostess with the messiest, mostest, Rain Martine. A Legendary Mess is the safe space for everybody who's in life's mess, and we're just trying to figure it out. And it's a community, it's a safe space. We are all in here together. There's no judgment, there's none of that. We give ourselves grace. I'm very heavy on that even more now. We give ourselves grace because we tend to be very hard on ourselves. We give ourselves grace in the same manner that God gives us grace. The more we remember that, the easier certain challenges can be gone and sought through. But if you're tuning in and you're watching, the first thing I want to say is welcome back. Welcome to season 2. And the question is, what did your last mess teach you? That is the question. We're not going to steer from it. We're going to hit it head on every single episode. I mean, that's the central theme. What has your last mess taught you? Or your current mess, right? And it was super important for me to just lean in with a legendary mess at this very current space of my life. First and foremost, season 1, I was not really supposed to end it abruptly as I did. I had a whole lot planned out, and I think God kind of laughed at that and said, "Let me get you together." He did. Where we last left off, a lot has happened. We're not going to tackle all of it today, but the basis is my health, my mental health, my emotional health took such a very, very heavy hit. As I was multitasking and doing the podcast work, amongst other things, I took a very big blow. And I am understanding I have to move differently, not just for my health, but for the well-being of my kids. I have to move differently because this is the first time I really felt that I was more unsafe than I had ever been in my life, emotionally, physically, mentally, the whole works. Some things I'm just not. Some things me, Rain, I cannot play off well. So I'm really, really grateful that I leaned into what God was telling me, which was to come back and speak on these experiences. I had a lot of highs, which were great, but I also had very, very, very big and hard and devastating blows. One of the blows were I was hospitalized, and although I've worked in the hospital, it's different when you're on the other end. And I went in for one thing, came out with a slew of other things. I took a lot of time rebuilding. I had to, with everything that had happened since we have last seen each other, I not only came with new set of health challenges and new challenges in general, I had to learn exactly what rest was. Something that I'm not very good at, but I've become very comfortable doing now. I had to learn what rest was. I literally hit rock bottom. And before, if I would have had to speak about this, I would have felt really ashamed or embarrassed, but I'm not. I hit rock bottom. And my kids saw that. My very close people. First and foremost, thank you guys for being amazing and showing up in the manner that you guys did. Whether it was covering me in prayer, coming to see me, just small things like checking in, or just really being a person of listening and safety for me. Thank you so much for that. But honestly, I'm gonna say I hit a very low bottom. Wasn't it might have been rock bottom, might not have been, but I'm gonna call it the bottom. I hit the dust. And I had to learn to rebuild out of that. Everything had to be rebuilt. My relationships with my families, relationship with my friends, my relationship with God, because if I'm gonna be honest on this space and in this space, I was not 100% honest in my prayers, and that was something that I had to really, really pick into, and really get into. I also am coming to understand that if I hadn't hit that bottom, I wouldn't be capable of harnessing the things that I have now. So I want to just let y'all know God is very intentional. If you think he's not, trust me, he is. He's been super intentional with me these last few months. Despite those small spaces of, hardship, I had a lot of joy being brought back to me. I went back to music. For those who know, that's initially how I wanted to use my voice, singing. And then eventually I was like, I don't think God want me to do that. if y'all know, y'all know. But then, again, like I said, God is very intentional with me. He's intentional with all of us, but he's very intentional with me. I went back to music. I went back to the root of it all, the core of it. And when I say the core of it, just doing it for fun and not as a chore and not as a job and not in the space of demand. I did it back where it was carefree and I didn't have to feel the perfection of every note, or I didn't have to feel like I was under a certain weight of pressure and perfection and this, that, and the third. So I went back to music and I found such a joy and comfort in that, and I'm really, really thankful for that. I did have to pause dancing for a little, but I'm back. And those who know that I dance, y'all know that took a lot out of me. To have to pause dancing, that took a lot out of me. I am back in this space where I'm enjoying simplicity. I am a person who likes simple things. I love simplicity. And even though it came in a space where I had to really, really take the meanest fall from grace, the way that I learned to enjoy the simplicity of it all, because that's what I had been praying for too. I had been in my space of praying where I was sitting in church membership classes, and I got my church membership class. Yay for me! I'll I don't have it on me right now. It's in the opposite room, but I got my church membership with Zion NYC. Shout out to y'all. Thank y'all for being amazing. I was in church membership class. I was doing a lot, and I had to be sat down. I'm a person who enjoys simplicity. I enjoy just showing up for somebody. I enjoy just, simple things of like dancing goofily, singing off key, cooking not as a chore, just because I feel like going in there not to waste the food, but to just have a time. I had to relearn so much in simplicity to have that childlike joy that I had really, really been missing. But along with that came, I had to be set apart, not isolated. There's a difference, a very big difference. Isolated, you can't have contact with people. That wasn't exactly what happened with me. I literally was set apart, and I had to sit it out and learn to take care of myself first, because that was a very big issue that I was having. I was not taking care of myself or putting myself first. And God had to really get me to sit down and cry about it. He had to send people in. And we are definitely going to have story time for that, just not on this particular episode. But there are certain people who have no clue that they were literally used by God to kind of intercept some things that were happening. And I really honestly thought there were certain things I had healed from, and I realized I didn't. And it took me sitting in the hospital, crying a whole lot, literally laying it bare in front of God and just saying, I don't have it, and I don't have anything else to give. I don't know how to receive, which is something that I'm now learning. And the first thing wasn't, I need help. Even though that was also what I needed, my first thing was, I don't know what to do besides pray. And that's what I did. And I found myself praying. I found myself crying a lot. I guess we would call that purging. I was purging, crying. Well, that's the same thing, right? Yeah. I was just going through it. My bad, dog. My dog was on the other end of the room, being very here, present, I should say. But there were things I really thought I had healed from. It sucks that I thought that I did and I didn't. Getting honest in my prayers was something very, very serious. I'm good for praying over people. I'm not good for praying for myself. This is the very exact time that God really needed me to sit and pray for myself, for what I needed. And I had to pray to be able to have the discipline to harness the things that I'm praying for. So in all reality, I was praying for, I can say some of the stuff. I was praying for, what I said, okay, what I said was, God, I want out of this half of the family. Sick of it. And what God must have heard in my internal space was, I need help navigating. Basically, he heard me saying, I'm still hurting from the things that I have yet to speak on. I'm still hurting from the things that I have spoke on, and it went deaf. And now I need help understanding what my place is with my family. It's still being worked out, obviously. I then had prayed about what my purpose really was. I mean, I had an idea, but at this point, it's even more clearer. Even with recent incidences that happened like over a few days ago and a week ago, it's very clear that I'm still supposed to use my voice. Whether it is ministering and singing or speaking and reaching others, I'm supposed to use my voice. That is exactly what he wants me to do. I also had to one of the things that I'm relearning as very childlike as we can get is reconciliation. I was very much the person who would be like, once I cut you off, there's no reason for you to re-enter. There's no reason for me to talk to you. You. Honestly, I'm not going to say you're dead to me, but you don't exist to me. You are a figment of my imagination, or you're a ghost. God was like, that's not it. And if I have to bring you to here to get you to see a couple of things, then that's what I'm going to do. And in the spaces where I'm still rebuilding, he's showing me reconciliation. But the only difference is I pray a lot more. Like, I naturally am a person who's going to keep talking to God throughout the day. Like, I'd be like, God, I know you heard what you heard. Or, God, did you hear that? I know I'm not tripping. I'm one of those. And I found myself, when it came down to reconciling with certain people, I found myself a lot of days crying because I was like, I know I'm not ready because I'm still hurt. But that's not what you are asking of me. You're asking me to still forgive them. You're asking me to be in the space of reconciling. And let me just say, the first couple of ones were really hard. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. The first couple of ones were very, very hard. It took me days, not to reconcile, but to not go back to that space where I'm like, they're a ghost to me. That's what my issue was. My issue was, once I cut you off, where it lies, leave it where it laid. And sometimes that's not what God is asking. But he also gave me a very sharp thing of discernment. My discernment has gotten extra sharp. It was sharp, but it ain't as sharp as it is now. And how it is now, Big G got it. This also forced me to reevaluate friendships, because I had to kind of just unhand or let go, like stop holding to certain people. And that doesn't mean I wish them any bad. If anything, it just means everybody's getting a new chapter. And I'm happy for that. I don't have any malice. There's no reason for me to feel malicious or evil or anything or resentful. I don't really have that. Did it hurt? Yes. Because I was like, because I was holding on too tight. And God was not asking for me to hold on to it. He needed me to see there was a purpose served and on both ends. And then if he wants to bring it back to that, he will. And I'm okay with that. I also am in this very unique space of harnessing no. I'm a person who's good for always helping and showing up. God needed me to see that there are people who show up for me, because I struggled with that. And thank God that the people who showed up for me were who they were. Don't think I would have gotten as far or been as grounded as I have been. He also made me change my therapist, y'all. I don't have any beef with my other one, but God was like, "No, we're gonna ship you right back to in-person therapy, Miss Girl, because you ain't as healed as you think you are." He's like, he also had to really make me rebuild my parenting. And he also had to show me there was a, he had to show not just me, but my children, there's a very big crack in the foundation, and it's not my job to always keep it polished. And after a while, my kids seeing that, that did something to me because I always feel like it's my job to protect them because I grew up where there was no adult that really was capable of protecting me and my siblings. And I've always went above and beyond to protect my kids. This is one of those things, it had to come out. It had to just be out in the open, and they had to make an informed decision of how they wanted to move. This also happened to get us into a different space of rebuilding because they saw me at such a very hard point. And I'm not going to say I'm not in that hard point anymore. I'm just in a different space of building from it. This really definitely made them see me as not mommy, but as just solely human. And I would have never thought that any other time, but I'm really, really grateful. It was just a lot. And to answer my own question, what that last mess taught me was even legends are not superheroes. Even legends still got to get on their knees and ask God to guide them, and to ask God, how do I? How can I? At one point, and I'll be honest, I really was not the person who ever thought I would be mad at God. And I don't want to say I was mad because I wasn't, but I was really in a space where I was like, God, why didn't you just let me? And then there was another space that I was in where it was like, I remember just crying because there was just a lot happening from rebuilding to coming home from the hospital. There was so much that was happening that I got scared because of the circumstances around me. I got very, very scared. And I didn't realize that how I reacted as a child being scared is so much different than how I reacted as an adult being scared. As a child, and I'm gonna touch this because as a child when I used to get scared, I would hide. Like that's just what it was. I would hide, and I would just understand being scared by myself, and nobody had to see it. Nobody had to understand that. As an adult, when I get scared, and when I have been scared, it was so different. I was extremely vulnerable, and I had to be very honest about that. Like, I'm scared, and I don't feel comfortable, and I don't feel safe. And understanding through therapy with this lovely woman I have for a therapist, she had to help me correlate that. She also had to help me correlate a lot of things that I really, really honestly thought I healed from, and I didn't. Am I healing from them? Yes. There are some things that I did 100% get the chance to heal, and I'm really, really thankful for that. But boy, is there still a nice amount of things. I also am trying to relearn co-parenting because I have nothing against my ex-spouse. Absolutely nothing. But those cracks in the foundations that my children unfortunately had to witness between what I would always consider was a good co-parenting relationship, it turns out it wasn't as good. It was a little bit dangerous in more ways than one. And even this past few days and weekends, I'm seeing it more. And where I normally would be like, I'm not gonna say too much, I'll wait, or I'll bring it up in a nicer manner, I was hitting it too quick. Like, don't get me wrong, I was praying. Like, the first thing I would do is like, God, I need you to give me the right words. so I don't come off in a manner that's horrendous. So I don't come off in a manner that's offensive. That and God did that, and I had to really, 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 really be honest, like more honest than I normally am towards my ex-husband. This type of level of honesty actually showed something completely different. It's still a very big work in progress, but boy, oh boy, did he realize, like, wow, okay. Like he was a little bit taken back. Thank God, because I was not having it. And my newest line is, I am a medically cleared crash out. We're gonna touch that probably next few episodes, what that actually means. There's a lot of comedy behind it, but you know, that's the tagline. This season, I'm a medically cleared crash out if need be. But this whole new season, right? Since we are on season 2, which I didn't even think was gonna happen after everything. We're on season 2. We're in here, and I just want to share this authentically and in real timing. It's important because, man, I'm not gonna sit and say I'm not hard on myself. I'm very hard on myself, but this is one of those times where crying in my prayers and being very honest and laying it all bare before God actually has paid off tremendously. I'm not saying it didn't any other time, but I also know I was withholding a lot. I've been more honest with God about every little thing down to my anxiety, which, for the record, I thought my anxiety wasn't as bad as it is. I'm still adjusting to that. Like, my anxiety is actually really, really bad. Like, I knew it was bad, but I'm not saying, my previous therapist missed, the target or anything, because I'm also to blame for that. But boy, oh boy, my anxiety is crap. Like, top tier crap. Like, I could probably get a check for it. My anxiety is really bad. And I'm gonna be very 1000% honest. I have more than one meds for it because, like I said, I'm a medically cleared crash out. But man, my anxiety is terrible. Like, I mean, and it's bad because now I'm, like, in recent events, my son is starting to have anxiety fits. He doesn't realize it, but I do, and we're very much on top of it, getting him back to his therapist and stuff. But man, my anxiety is bad, and I was having like a couple of anxiety attacks, like in public, because I didn't realize my social anxiety comes from my upbringing, which is terrible in one way, but it's great in another because I'm very hypervigilant. But I had I had a few social events, and I was not very functional, and I had to get the emergency meds, which I do carry with me on a regular everyday basis. I had to get my emergency meds to get me to not lose all of my marbles. My anxiety's terrible. Like, I wish I could say it was just regular bad. No, it's top tier bad. Like, they actually I have more than one meds. I have emergency meds. I have daily meds, and it's bad when I'm honest enough to say they could probably clear a check for the fact my anxiety is as bad as it is. That's the truth. But honestly, this season, right? We're gonna touch on it. We're gonna touch on the hospital trip. We're gonna touch on what happened leading to it, and For y'all probably gonna be like, I can't believe it. I can. Ain't my first rodeo. We're gonna touch on some of the stuff I didn't get to do season one, which is I'm a little excited about. We're gonna touch on a lot of things. We're gonna touch on I'm going to do these weekly things where I tell y'all a couple of very messy confessional moments to very messy real time what was that. And I'm happy to say there will be mini vlogs. You'll get to see little bits and pieces of my life this season where it'll make a lot of sense. There'll be a lot more story times for sure. And I'm really excited. I'm going to have guests. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, y'all going to hear it all. You're going to hear it all. Like, you're going to hear every ounce of chaos and ghetto-ness that has been occurring not just these last few months, but even prior to that. But these last few months, you're really going to hear the ghetto. And the moments where I was medically cleared to crash out, because boy, oh boy, I'm not even going to say I'm not proud of them. It is what it is, really. But it's a legendary mess. What do you expect? You know? But I'm happy to be back. And if you're noticing I'm a lot calmer, I'm going to tell y'all two things. One, my anxiety meds have regulated the crap out of me. I'm very calm, but I'm still very loud. And the dog is sleeping, so that's why I'm not loud today. Two, well, one of it is for a medical reason why I'm super calm. And we're definitely going to hit that, and it's going to be very heavy. And I'll probably have people who get to tell their side of this too. And I'm pretty sure people are going to cry. I know I am. I'm not even going to hide it. I'm going to cry. But this is such a big deal, in a sense, that I'm still here, and I have a message, and I have a voice that still has to be used, and I'm still a vessel that God is still walking alongside of me in my purpose with. And I'm just going to say thank God for everything He has really done, because these last few months were not normal, and they were really hard. And I'll I definitely just gotta make sure I'm honest in this season of a legendary mess. More honest than normal, like real time honest. Where those mini vlogs are gonna show stuff though, and it's gonna be great. So as calm as this was, it might have bored y'all, but that's okay. It still hit the right people. And first and foremost, that question. What has your last mess taught you? What has it taught you? Leave comments. Just leave comments. And whether it's my TikTok or my Instagrams or here, leave comments and let me know. Let's walk this together in real timing. Also, now I got a signature ending, which is basically, first and foremost, we give ourselves grace in the same manner that God has given us grace. This is a safe space in a community and a family. I'm the CEO of the chaos, and I'm here to just welcome my little people, my cousins and y'all in. And third, welcome to season 2 of A Legendary Mess. I'm your hostess with the messiest, mostest, Ray Martine. I love you, but trust me, God loves you even more. And this has been Season 2, Episode 1, A Legendary Mess. I'll see you guys next week.
Too low to the mall, with a couple capos and 100 fucking dimes. Color slaughter gang, you get your shit popped. Draco with a drum, the bitch ain't never go stop. We on that night war shit.